Hello, my name is Brittany Bailey, and I've had the opportunity to introduce you guys to Dr. Williams, Captain Daniels, Ben, and Captain Marshall. So I understand that you two visionaries are responsible for bringing forth the Shades of Blue program. What inspired you to do so?
Well, Shades of Blue is an aviation aerospace foundation, and we saw a need in the country about 15, 17 years ago. So we decided to create this organization to help bring pilots alongside of engineers and scientists from our working environment into the classrooms, K through college, to help plant the seeds and inspire kids to follow in our footsteps and pursue careers in the STEM related and STEAM related fields.
Okay, and you mentioned the STEM related industries. Can you explain to our audience what exactly that acronym stands for?
STEM is science, technology, engineering, and math. STEAM is a new term that came up the last few years because they wanted to include the arts in that. So it's science, technology, engineering, arts, and math.
Awesome.
So when we add that in, we want the young people to understand that this is all inclusive. Because if we envision going to Mars, for example, you have to have the arch concept of what Mars is going to look like. And so it's very, very important to include STEAM into all of those different
Absolutely.
areas.
Okay, and what exactly is your role with the Shades of Blue program, Dr. Williams?
As far as the school district is concerned, the areas of STEAM have been sort of a new piece for us. It's been sort of a piece that has kind of fallen behind, but now we understand the implications and importance of having our kids prepared in those areas. And so when I met with Captain Daniels and he talked about his project in terms of preparing young folks for careers in the aviation industry, that really made good sense to us as a way to motivate our kids to really get out and learn about math and science and all the other related fields. One of the things that occurs in the classroom is that we teach theory quite a bit, but not the application of the theory. So the program will allow our kids to go out of the classroom into a laboratory and learn what that theory means, what it represents. And that's so important because some kids are abstract learners. They're not, and some kids are visual learners. So we want to be able to make sure that the kids that are visual learners get a chance to learn what those concepts relate to, what they're all about. And this program would give the kids the opportunity to do that.
Okay, and can you briefly describe your role with the Shades of Blue program?
Well, I serve as the president of the Board of Education, Long Beach Unified School District. We're the third largest school district in California with 72,000 kids. That is a heck of a workforce to really get prepared for careers and also for higher education, for college. So much of what we do right now for our kids is getting them turned on to these kinds of opportunities. Being able to have a program like this really does just gets us right where we want to be. And the more programs that we can have like this, the better it is for our kids. My role as the president of the Council of Great City Schools is to be able to take this concept and move it across this country. But first, it would be nice to get a little pilot of this program going to see how it works for our kids, and then to extend it to the rest of the country.
Awesome. And Ben, what would you say is your role within the Shades of Blue program?
I'm the newcomer to this whole thing. As the president of the Columbia Memorial Space Center, we're a community hub based sort of to bring STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math to community groups wherever we are. So we represent a very public face of all of this kind of stuff. We hope to be sort of a conduit to get the programs that are happening in Long Beach or anywhere in the Los Angeles area, any of the Shades of Blue programming, out to people on the ground, beyond the schoolroom. And also we're then hooked into this national network of other science centers, science museums, things like that, and kind of be able to spread the word that way. But I completely agree with Dr. Williams is that let's get it right in a pilot program here. Southern California has always been and still is the nexus of aerospace industry for the 21st century and beyond. So this is the perfect place to have these kind of programs and pilot them and get them right.
Absolutely. Captain?
My role as the president of the California chapter of Shades of Blue is to spearhead the introduction of students to these programs, to give them hands-on opportunities, to follow up with what Dr. Williams said. Just not what the theory is in class, but how does this really apply in real life? Here's a chance to get out,
Awesome.
be exposed to the actual application of what we're doing.
Okay, so I can tell that you guys are all very passionate about this. What sparked that passion?
Well, I'm sorry.
Well, it's for us. We know that we have to get it right. We know that math and science has been a stumbling block for so many of our kids. It's the gatekeeper. It keeps our kids from so many opportunities. And so if we have a way to get past that through a program like this that gets our kids excited, where they want to engage in math and science related activities, it's a big plus for us. And Ben has come along and offered this wonderful facility. When you think of a museum, you don't think of a museum as a place where you can bring in innovation, but this is the perfect place for all of this to come together as a point of reference for our kids to do the application part. Everything's here, and we want to make sure that we capitalize on this in a way that is very productive for the things that need to be done and have to be done.
When you look at the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, for example, what are we here doing this for? Well, the main reason is we're trying to inspire the next generation of future pilots, engineers, scientists, and astronauts. The intellectual capital of our country. If we go back to the early 60s when President John F. Kennedy was in office, and he challenged not only America but the world to send a man to the moon and bring him back safely, which we were able to do.
And may I interrupt? That happened here on our site, not in this building, but where we stand right now. This whole place was the NASA site where they built all the Apollo capsules that went to the moon and designed and built the space shuttles. So just perfect place for that story.
That absolutely true and fantastic, because we want the students to understand that they can be a part of this. They don't have to be exclusive of this. They can be a part of it, the new intellectual capital for the world. And when you look at it from our standpoint, we're industry. We are coming from our working environment into their classrooms to help inspire them to follow in our footsteps, to make it relevant why they are learning what they're learning in school today. Now, when I travel all over the world and all over the country and speaking to students across the world, I tell them I have a room with a panoramic view of the world. And it literally does. I look out and I see absolutely fantastic sights out my window as I'm flying around the world. And these are things that people will never ever get a chance to see. And for a young person in their elementary years, this is a great opportunity to get on the bandwagon, have professionals kind of mentoring them, pointing them in the right direction and tracking them all the way through college. And the biggest part of that is when they come out of college, we have also developed a network within the industry to help open up the doors and provide their resumes right into those HR departments.
And the spark for me is the realization that I didn't get where I am on my own. So many people exposed me to things that I would never have thought of otherwise. So this is our chance to reach back and spark interest in some of these students to try new things.
Just to give you a few additional statistics, in the next 12 years in America alone, we're going to lose 69,000 airline pilots due to retirement. We don't have enough young people in the pipeline to replace us. This is a golden opportunity for these young people to get in the pipeline and have someone guide them through the process. In the next 16 years, by 2032, in the world, we're going to be short 565,000 airline pilots. We're looking at 585,000 aircraft mechanics and technicians short. This is a great opportunity. Right now in the country, we're short 1.2 to 1.5 million engineers because the baby boomer generation is coming of age and we're retiring. So this is a unique opportunity to show the kids that, hey, you can be a part of this great future that's coming ahead of you.
Absolutely.
And just to add to what Captain Daniels was saying, even if the kids decide to pursue other pathways, the fact that they get this training, that they get a chance to develop their skills and abilities in these areas, means that the world opens up to them in so many ways. They will have so many other options to consider just by having these skills under their resume. So anything they do is going to enhance their future, their opportunities, and I mean, we don't lose with this. We don't lose at all. We get a number of kids prepared and trained to be the next generation of leaders in fields that are critical and essential to this country. Right now, we go out and we recruit folks from all over the world to fill these roles because we're not filling them here. So this gives us an opportunity to do just that.
I want to follow up on that, in that the reason why I'm passionate not just about this project, but about being here at the museum and being in STEM and things like that, is that I think beyond the job creation and things like that, for me, it's fundamental to being a great human being, to be able to think critically and creatively, which is what science is all about. So I definitely see our role, and my role as a science educator, is preparing people for life, whether they're lawyers or poets or scientists or airline pilots. It doesn't matter. It's just, if the Space Center can be, well, our mission is to ignite a community of creative and critical thinkers. If we can be the spark for that, how awesome would it be to have a whole community that thinks critically and creatively? Like, how much change could happen from that? So that, to me, that's what drives this, is that there are bigger goals out there that I'm not going to put into place. Somebody else that we touch is going to put into place, and that's going to fundamentally change how things are done in this country. That's, don't hate me for that, but I really want to produce big impact and big change, and I think that STEM is the way to do it, and this program is the perfect sort of entree into that.
Okay, so we know that there are students and parents both observing the interview. What would you say to them, how would you inform them to get their child involved with this program?
Well, they can feel free to, if they're under the age of 18, first of all, we require a parental signature for them to be part of our organization. We also require parental involvement because we understand that in order for that student to succeed, we have to have the parents supporting them, getting them to those sites where those activities are taking place and picking them up and bringing them back. But we don't just want them to come and drop them off. We want them to come and learn themselves, because a lot of the things that over the years I've encountered parents and they said, wow, where was this when I was growing up? And this did not exist for them. And parents say, wow, this is something that I always wanted to learn. So that's the beauty of all of this, is we want parental involvement so that they can learn as well.
Perfect.
And as a school district, the way we would get the word out is to promote the program. We would have a number of ways to do it. We have a communication system in the district where we can send notification out to every single household in our district by pushing a button. So we can do that through PSAs. We also have the capability of cable TV in our district, and we can put this information on cable TV so that we can send a notification out that way. But I think fundamentally we want to train our counselors who guide our kids, bring them all in for workshops, be able to orient our counselors to this program, then have our counselors recruit kids, get the word out about this program.
That would be awesome.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and wrap up. I do thank you, gentlemen, for sharing your time and information with us. We're going to allow Captain Daniels to take us on a tour in that flight. So we're signing off now. You guys take care.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.